This is P.O.C. I want you to see who's going to federal prison for this. They were at Silverview Townhomes. And there is a Dominic Choi's ongoing criminal engagement. All Title 18 criminal activities underway, the entity concentrating on my location. You also know that because the fake sun is over my apartment, and while I'm documenting the P.O.C. facilitated by Silverview Townhomes, they will be going to federal prison for it, okay? That's called crossing path. That's also why they're worthy of federal prison. So that's impunity. The entity engages in terrorism with outright knowledge, and the fact that the fake sun is seen through the window of this apartment complex at 6 in the morning, and it's directly over the top of my head, so let me show that while the entity is soaring all around in helicopter activity, all the people of the state living at Silverview and the possession of minor children that they're currently in custody of, they're going to be removed. This is the light source that's over me while I am capturing the fake sun over, and while a third party and a demon is crossing path on Alvarado Street, monitoring me in concert with the demons that are on the property of Silverview Townhomes. In the same way you see a demon walking their dog, while the entity is just flying over in helicopter, openly engaging in terrorism, which is an exceedingly violent sex offense. Terrorism that's occurring in the United States, and the whole property is engaging in this ongoing facilitation. These third parties will be serving time in federal prison for it. All right, they were driving, this is a white Chevrolet pickup truck. They're pacing around while the entity is repeatedly threatening my life and engaging in the ongoing documented pattern within the pattern. The more I'm documenting, capturing screenshots while Title 18 criminal activity is underway, the more that the LAPD flies over the apartment, communicating a threat, intending to terrorize you, to threaten your life, threaten your safety, and that's exactly what the people of the state are communicating while they are group stalking with that government, who you see on video flying over while this is on my screen, because all of the entity is aware of what you are of what you're documenting. This pattern of conduct, this criminal system, this psychotic mind state is shared by the entire population. This is the same LAPD, okay? That is following when I am driving to Chase Bank. This is the same criminal conduct, demons stalking in the path with light activity, in the same way that they act with impunity. It's the same intensity that they're going to be prosecuted as a community, which is engaged in terrorism here in the U.S. So I want to be clear how you know that that third party is a demon and is also engaged in state surveillance, because I want you to recall what the entity is doing when I'm driving to Chase Bank, which is what I documented, and you're looking at the same demonic behavioral pattern. The people of the state that openly engage in terrorism.
All right, so this is speaking. This is documentation.
Maintaining.
So
excuse me, hold on.
This is documentation.
Engaging in open
Victor
means
Sam
stalking.
Nancy 868. See the light source to the rear windshield.
There's no sun that's going to be over Silverview Townhomes, like I documented yesterday. Over my apartment while people are driving, and you see the so-called sun through their driver's side, passenger side window, depending on the direction that they're driving. There's no sun that would still be over this apartment while it's anywhere in Ontario, California. There is no sun that would maintain stationary presence over me while I'm documenting it through my sunroof on the streets in Los Angeles, where you're looking at the people of the state engaging in the same criminal conduct that the same entity, the people of the state, are engaging in while the entity is flying, concentrating helicopter activity over my apartment. That's called light activity creation. This is the same parking lot where Universal Waste engaged in what is terrorism via directed light at nightfall. This is the pattern of conduct where the entity is acting in with this entity that flew in circles over the Chase Bank as I am en route. That's the same agency. Group stalking with all the people of the state. So I want to be clear, as I documented this third party, 9J SN111, I believe. This third party is going to federal prison, just like Silverview Townhomes. They're going to be prosecuted for the terrorism that they're engaging in with the same agency. That is, by the way, where you are recognizing the pattern in the unnatural environment and the outwardly and open methods whereby the entity is facilitating that system of group stalking, which is terrorism in the U.S. So I want to get accurately this third party who's going to federal prison that's engaging in the same criminal conduct that Silverview Townhomes is engaging in. It's criminal facilitation, and living in relevant position, by the way, is grounds of federal prison. Silverview Townhomes represents a community that's engaged in terrorism in the U.S. in concert with the entity that's following me as I go from this location, Alvarado Gardens, to Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue. And as you will see today, there's no sun that's going to be over Chase Bank at 1:17 p.m. In fact, I've already documented the maintenance of the light source in its zenith here at this same property, where you're seeing group stalking, terrorism, and openly doing so at Silverview Townhomes. The people of the state are pacing in and out in sync with the demons that are flying over the property. That is LAPD, and this is directly relevant for how Dominic Choi and every other state actor already documented as well, all the way in Fontana, California. This is the lawlessness. This is the demented mind state. This is that ongoing determination to continue terrorism that they're acting with. So 9JPN111 is indistinguishable from Marie Ennis, who's group stalking. Indistinguishable from the people of the state that are group stalking at Silverview Townhomes, while they're also engaged in what is surveillance on the venue of the internet, knowing that I am capturing activity publishing it onto the video of the internet. And this is also shown because the more I document as I begin uploading, the more the helicopter activity begins to occur. And you're already a heavily documented terrorist stalking in helicopters. So I want to make sure that you remember what I documented at 117. And the entity was stalking a helicopter.
Victor Sam Nancy 868. See the light source to the rear windshield. 9JPN 111. Group stalking with LAPD at Normandy and Sunset. All right, federal prison.
So this is the same agency that's flying over my apartment, and this is what I mean with regard to the people of the state group stalking using your commercial equipment, a lift, and their white pickup truck, which again, HOA Silverview Townhomes is directly going to be prosecuted for that. The people of the state that are repeatedly pacing their Silverview Townhomes is going to also compensate for the terrorism and the threat that they are facilitating, knowingly so. This is state terrorism. This is the civil recovery for that criminal conduct and also the criminal prosecution for that criminal conduct. It's a sex offense while I'm inside of my private space. It is serving for what is state surveillance, group stalking. And this is not a movie. This is not Enemy of the State. I'm not Will Smith. This is the reality of what is stalking. As you see the LAPD flying across while I'm inside of my bedroom, they're group stalking and they're keeping me under surveillance just like they were here when I am driving down the street at Normandy, and the light source is seen through the rear view window of a third-party group stalker on the roads and the highways. That's exactly what Alvarado Gardens is engaging in, and openly so, establishing the grounds whereby terrorists such as Dominic Choi, terrorists such as those who are actually flying the helicopters, terrorists such as those documented by license plates such as the Glendale Police Department, and all the ways in which you are prosecuting the government that's engaging in terrorism, including in a private space. And this is because they are hostile, as I am uploading the evidence onto the Google Drive, which, by the way, common sense dictates it's not stopping the upload. It's not stopping it. You're talking about what is outright psychotic and desperate criminal conduct that is not helping the third parties that are still being captured in pictures. They're still being compared with what is the identical criminal pattern of conduct when I'm nowhere near Alvarado Gardens, including on this day when I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library, where there's no sun that would ever be seen through a rearview mirror of a third party driving at Normandy in Los Angeles at any time of the day. The entity is doing so pursuant to a pattern of remaining where I am in that specific environment in helicopters, group stalking, terrorism, statewide terrorism, while you're looking at a third party at Silverview Townhomes act with lawlessness, complete disregard of an American citizen's enforcement of your rights. Walking your dog is crossing a path. Driving in and out of the property is crossing a path. And you're doing so engaging in terrorism with the government. And let me be clear, Osama bin Laden and all of Osama bin Laden's agents are prosecuted the same for engaging in terrorism. So doing so with abandon and doing so openly, very foolishly on camera, the prosecutor is capturing you. And then you will fail at sitting in federal court, shedding any tears, asking for any sort of leniency. The absence and the outright disregard while you are also, and it is also established that you are engaging in surveillance, so you know what was being documented about your criminal conduct. You are not found to be anybody that's going to be genuinely considered when you ask to not be placed in federal prison for so long. Okay, so I just want to point this out. This is the same entity that's stalking in a helicopter flying over me while you're looking at the same conduct. Crossing a path, light activity creation at Silverview Town.
Shared pattern of conduct by a population, and you also know their condition. They're demons. Okay, they're just marching to the identical code
while
of
the entity is flying over my vehicle in helicopter, and the fake sun is remaining directly over the top of my head, which you can see, and meeting me at the intersection. This is demonic pacing. This is what's going on.
You're talking about
when you're looking at Alvarado Gardens, everybody driving in and out of the parking lot, driving up and down Alvarado Street, driving in and out of the property of Silverview. These demons are pacing all around, and they're doing so while a fake sun remains over my head inside of my apartment, which is why I stepped outside of the front door. And I'll remind you about that again. All right, so the entity is flying outside of my bedroom window. This is the criminal system that's underway, and Silverview Townhomes, the entire property is going to be prosecuted for the criminal system. And speaking civilly, the HOA, Silverview Townhomes, I'm going to drain their pockets for the unprecedented level of violation of privacy and facilitation that the property is facilitating. They are not ignorantly engaging in facilitating conduct. This is a statewide crime. The people of the state, as you see, speaker companies are extending their properties, extending any and everything that's happening. This is how you have the dumpster man exhibiting demon possession, monitoring me inside of my bedroom. The HOA Silverview Townhomes knows exactly what is going on with regard to any and everyone that's on the property, supposedly under the guise of providing services. This is exactly what the people of the state, the vendors of speaker companies, as I call them, Nova contractors, they're here engaging in service and they're monitoring. Smart Janitorial here engaging in service and they're monitoring. Okay, Universal Waste here engaging in service and they're monitoring. And they're monitoring in concert with the LAPD. This is the evidence, and I want you to recall that while they are openly creating light activity, that's going to the whole entity as well. And everybody at Alvarado Gardens who's going to federal prison is going to be analyzed with regard to that impunity that the whole entity is revealing, exhibiting together, including while the demons are stalking in helicopter. Dominic Choi and LAPD's criminal activity will be used against you as the people of the state engaging in that criminal system, which is terrorism in the U.S. Period. This is what the entity continuously
Everyone knows where I'm at. I'm dealing.
So the entity is stalking in a helicopter. Wait for the light to turn green. Hold on. Wait for the light
Directly
to
as I'm
turn
documenting
green.
on the streets, on the roads and the highways, they're going to federal prison. 9JPN 111 again. P.O.C.
This is the entity flying directly over the vehicle, waits for the light to turn green. And so as they know when the light's going to turn green and I'm going to turn so that they can engage in what is openly terrorizing. This is occurring not in some third world country. This is a government that is stalking me in helicopters here in California, in a demonic environment where the sun is not possibly going to be anywhere near what is the third party facilitating venue. This is, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. You need to know that they're monitoring, that there are group stalkers and a whole bunch of demon-possessed people work at that environment where presumably they're around a lot of children. They're engaged in state terrorism. That's why the light source is over me. This is speaking to what the entire population, every business, every hospital, every bank. This is why they're flying over the bank in circles. This is why Engineer Light is inside of that Chase Bank. It's already documented. This is a statewide system. So you're going to take it right back to what you saw the people of the state doing, creating light activity in relevant position, and a fake sun is over my head while LAPD flew in relevant position. That's the criminal system that Silverview Townhomes is openly engaging in. You are going to permeate the lives of the people of the state. Minor children separated. You will be prosecuted. And if you think there's a sense of anonymity, because I'm not standing in front of you, this is the foolishness that the entity engages in. Stalking in helicopters, flying up, rolling up and down Alvarado Street, driving on and off of the property of Silverview Townhomes, living at Alvarado Gardens. Nobody's escaping anything. So the entity is engaging in this, and I just want you to recall this is the same agency that's stalking me while I'm going to the Chase Bank. And this is some spectacular evidence where the entity flew in a circle.
Hovering over the bank. This is the evidence of the state that's engaged, providing evidence to prosecute Chase for this. They're in violation of existing federal laws, by the way, while they're engaged.
In the same way that I'm going to prosecute civilly and criminally the HOA Silverview Townhomes. All right. They represent money. You are draining the pockets of every commercial actor. This is how the people of the state of California, this capitalistic society that's engaging in what is the statewide system of terrorism and openly engaging in the elements of monitoring in sync with an agency that is stalking obsessively in helicopter in an environment that is entirely engineered pursuant to a well and heavily documented consistent pattern of what is engineered light occurring, including on the apartment building of Silverview Townhomes. While a fake sun is over me, you are woefully unprepared for what you will be prosecuted for if you think anyone is deceived by what you are doing and you foolishly do it on camera to the demise of everyone else. Not only are you not escaping, nobody else is escaping for what you're doing. These are the consequences. These are the repercussions for engaging in what is criminal teamwork, group stalking an American citizen.
In group stalking surveillance with the state of California. You cannot maintain my privacy as a consumer with Chase Bank while you're engaged in what is public information, everything that's going to be talked about in the bank, everything regarding what they're looking, using communication devices to access your bank account information. It's all public while the demon possessed know exactly what you're saying and what you're doing.
I want to make sure you can see the entity is literally flying in a circle over the bank.
Including the state that's flying in a circle. Flying in a circle is what LAPD is doing, providing evidence against Chase Bank, who I'm going to prosecute.
That's the same agency that's stalking, flying outside of my bedroom window, doing so pursuant to real-time knowledge of what I'm uploading onto the internet, which under no circumstances, while that heavily documented pattern of a criminal intent to obstruct justice by threatening, intimidating, retaliating, increasing amplified audible activity, shooting engineer light all around the environment, including inside of my apartment, doing so, shouting out obscenities or leaving obscenities on my voicemail at the office. These are all methods of what are the barbarians that are group stalkers, the demon possessed, that wicked spirit that's causing them to engage in very serious criminal activity that they're going to answer for in a federal tribunal. All right. So this is the system, and that's the context whereby Silverview Townhome acting in sync with the LAPD, who openly flew in relevant position. Nobody is mistaken about what LAPD and Dominic Choi are engaging in, and they continuously do so, which is relevant to terrorist leaders such as Dominic Choi and their term in federal prison, or how long they sit in federal prison. While there is no anonymity, while you're in the U.S. being a domestic enemy, which is equally threatening to American society, and there is no distinction between a foreign enemy and a domestic one, and they represent, that's what the LAPD, that the entire force. This is a terrorist organization, and they're acting with the people, and they're demon possessed as well, as you are seeing all of the evidence of that. That is what is flying outside of my window while the people of the state on the adjacent property are group stalking, okay? And doing so openly. That threat to your life, you are directly addressing that at federal prosecution directly, okay? It is, again, 12:08 p.m., so let me just show you the light source that indeed remains over the top of my head while the entity is engaging in the elements of monitoring, flying outside of my bedroom window, where the fake sun will remain, and there will be no, just like I showed, as I did not drive anywhere, I remained right here inside of my apartment. And where did the fake sun stay? Right here outside of my apartment, not over any Chase Bank, not over any Vaughn's grocery store, not over on Glendale Boulevard to roll and to be in alignment with my sunroof over my head while I'm driving by McDonald's on Glendale Boulevard, not over any Amazon Prime vehicle that's crossing path while I'm driving up and down the streets in Los Angeles, not to be over any other car wash, no location. It remained right here all day. And that's the same thing when I'm in the workplace. This is P.O.C. All right, so let me zoom out again. Not only subject to what is state surveillance, but subject to surveillance on the venue of the internet, an independent basis for federal prison, by the way. So like I said, federal prosecution, you will produce the identity of those who are engaging in terrorism with the state. You will produce it, or you'll go to federal prison as well. But like I said, the entity's whole system is going to break down. I'm letting you know what's going to happen, because it's going to be every man for himself, where right now they are foolishly standing for the losing team, okay? Satan loses. Satan is entirely so there is no question with regard to the location of this light source. You can see it reflected through a rear windshield. It's not over Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario. It's not, while you see it here above my head, also over the Normandy where I'm driving. It's not over any Chase Bank where it would create any sunlight through the window on the roof, apparently, of the ceiling of the Chase Bank, like that impossible light activity that I captured while I'm there. So there's no vantage point where sunlight will ever create that light. Let's just go ahead and document it, but instead of speaking vaguely about it, the light activity. Not only did the state fly over the bank, all right, and this is what Silverview Townhomes is engaging in. Not only did the entities fly over the bank, the impossible light activity inside of the bank, speaking to the malice of those who are not innocently doing anything. Impossible light activity surrounds this demon who was group stalking. This is the same bank. Inside of it, impossible light activity, which has nothing to do with any position of a sun or the light source. I've shown you how the impossible light, like you see at nightfall, universal oasis crossing path, that has nothing to do with the fake sun, nor does it have anything to do with headlights or tail lights or hazard lights or anything. It is the presence of the demonic. That's how you know the condition, and you know the criminal conduct, while the demon keeps his hands in his pockets, knowing that he's surrounded by evidence, continuously group stalking nonetheless. This is relevant for everybody that was on the clock at Chase Bank, by the way. Okay, everybody living at Silverview Townhomes, the same system is underway. And inside of the bank, impossible light is across the ceiling. You can see my shadow. See, I'm moving an engineer light. My shadow's appearing at right at a distance. All right, this is not different from the light activity that I'm capturing at Alvarado Gardens all day long. You are working in a facilitating venue. You're not exercising any privacy rights. Federal stalking is also underway. Understand what these banks are in violation of existing federal laws. When you are group stalking and engaged in state surveillance, none of my banking information is private. Okay, and the government that's flying over your bank knows exactly with regard to and they should not. But they do. And this is built into the P.O.C. So everywhere the P.O.C. is occurring, then there's a whole body of federal laws that's going to pummel down on you as I prosecute you. So this is, again, it's 12:12 p.m. This is just giving context to what the entity is doing openly. The same criminal endeavor. The more you enforce your rights, the more you speak to the pattern of conduct, the terrorism that I'm subject to, you're witnessing the public safety concern, a demon-possessed and obsessed population continuously to its own demise. Nobody's walking away from this at all. Nobody. And to their own demise, continuously engage in that criminal activity. That's what you'll learn about third-party group stalker Silverview Townhomes. All right. And Silverview Townhomes is a third-party facilitating venue engaging in what is workplace terrorism. And I just wanted to see if I happen to have their address. I have it on the record, though. I have it. Multiple images of the address to get it in this video. While the entity is a documented group stalker acting in sync with the people of the state on a 24-hour basis. In other words, you just live next door, which is relevant positioning. I have focused federal prison for those that live literally on the property of Alvarado Gardens. But I want to be clear, just as you are witnessing, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the fake sun is, has nothing to do with sunlight, this light activity on my bedroom wall. This is relevant positioning, and the light source is present still at the same property, like seen through the windshields of vehicles parked at this same property. It's 2:36, okay? The light source is remaining over me at the property all day long. I've already established that. I'm going to make sure that I publish in this video Silverview Townhome. It's an HOA. It's adjacent. I've also documented the light source directly over that property, and you have what is under all circumstances not escaping. Again, remember, this is early in the morning, 7 in the morning. The engineer light is always present on my walls, appearing and disappearing. While you're subject to surveillance, it's of a demonic nature, and Silverview Townhomes is right next door. Silverview Townhomes is indeed group stalking, and they openly do so while the entity flies over, incriminating them while group stalking, engaging in the elements of monitoring. Silverview Townhomes located at 1830 through 1898, and it is an HOA, and I will be prosecuting them civilly and criminally. Everybody that lives at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison. They're acting in sync with the people of the state who come onto the property, who are next door to the property, who drive by the property, all right, engaging in nothing, and who fly over the property, by the way, fly over me at the property, amplifying, pursuant to a long documented pattern of conduct. The fact that you're stalking me is already established. I can't even go to the bank without the demons flying over the bank, threatening my life in helicopters. Everybody at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison for that. All right. And this is what Silverview Townhomes is engaging in, to the demise of the people of the state that live there, and they will be prosecuted. It's currently 12:14 p.m. This is P.O.C.